Hello, everybody. This is Joseph P. Farrell with news and views from the Nefarium on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. We have a really interesting developing story. It's going to be a short news and views, but an important one. There's an interesting story out of Ohio that I want everybody particularly in North America, to pay attention to, because I have a feeling this is the tip of the iceberg of more to come. Before we get to that, a reminder that tomorrow there is no vid chat. I have another commitment tomorrow, actually two other commitments. I'm hoping I'll be able to make one of them that came up rather unexpectedly. I had a death of a very good and dear friend occur earlier this week. In any case, there is no vid chat tomorrow. Our next vid chat will be a week from tomorrow, and that will be the evening vid chat. Now, let's get right down to it. There is a story coming out of Ohio, and I have a feeling that this is a story that's going to be one to watch. The story is by Brian Coster and Stephen Hernandez. The story is titled Proposed Ohio Bill Would Give Utility Companies Control of Customer Thermostats in Some Cases. And I'm going to read a few paragraphs from the beginning. This is a very short article. A few paragraphs from the beginning of the article and then towards the end. I'm going to read about half of the article. I want you to listen closely. I'm not going to comment until I get done reading all of the paragraphs that I have designated to read to you. But I'm sure most of you can already fathom, just hearing what's going on, what's in store, and what the next steps in this meme are going to be. They're beta testing something in Ohio, and I think if they are successful, they're going to try and spread it to other states. So here we go. This is datelined September 4th, 2025. It's datelined in Lakewood, Ohio, apparently from television station WOIO. And here is the story. Quote, an Ohio lawmaker has proposed legislation that would allow utility companies to throttle your energy usage during periods of high demand, essentially giving control of customer thermostats on a voluntary basis. State Representative Roy Klopfenstein, Republican from Haviland, introduced House Bill 427, which he says will modernize Ohio's energy regulations and help homeowners and small businesses save money while improving electric grid reliability. Quote, the legislation is a crucial step in our state's comprehensive plan to ensure all Ohioans have access to reliable, affordable, and readily available energy, unquote, said Representative Klopfenstein. Quote, demand response programs have proven to be a vital tool for our large commercial users. Gee, I wonder who they might be. And it's important that similar programs are made available to residential and small commercial users, unquote, the lawmaker added. These programs will ease the strain on our energy grid and save money for all Ohioans, unquote. Now I'm skipping a couple of paragraphs here and resuming toward the end of the article. Quote, the bill encourages the establishment of voluntary demand response programs, where participating customers can allow utilities to temporarily adjust energy usage, such as raising thermostat settings or cycling water heaters during periods of high demand. Customers would always have the ability to override these actions, and utilities would be permitted to compensate participants with either an annual payment or a per-event fee, unquote. And that's it. Now, folks, I don't mind telling you that I think this is the camel's nose in the door, because we know what's going to happen, because this is what government always does. At first, the program is going to be voluntary, and then they will make it mandatory. And you'll notice who they're really doing it in service of is the large commercial companies. And notice that there is already, even in this voluntary bill, a discussion of fees per event. So in other words, if you're turning up your air conditioning during a heat wave, or turning up your furnace during a cold snap, those are going to incur special fees that you're going to have to pay, if you pay through the nose, incidentally, I would imagine, if you do that during those types of weather events. But here's what I really suspect is going on. We already know that mining cryptocurrencies requires a huge amount of energy. And now, in addition to all of that, they want to open up these mega data centers so that their artificial intelligence systems can use more energy, gather more data, and use more water. And this is what also concerns me. You're looking at a bill that I suspect is a beta test that is going to be expanded to water usage, and the same excuses are going to be used. Oh, well, we need to safeguard our infrastructure and make savings and cost benefit plans available to the average consumer. No, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I think this is all just being done to make it much easier for those big data companies to suck up more energy and more water and pass it along to the average consumer. That's what I think is going on. And you'll notice that they've decided to do this on a state-by-state basis. And I suspect that the reason why is rather clever, because they've seen the fact that many of the states in the country are becoming increasingly belligerent vis-a-vis the federal government. And I include both red and blue states in that assessment. So in other words, as the scene of the action is moving away from the federal government back to the states, this is where they've decided to foster legislation on a state-by-state basis. I don't think this for a moment is going to be confined to Ohio. I think Ohio is a bit of a misdirection, because if they can get it there, then they're going to try it in places like Texas or Louisiana, places that are already building out these big data centers. So this is one to watch, folks. Absolutely one to watch. It's one to be extremely cautious of, these so-called voluntary programs. I don't buy for a minute that they're going to remain voluntary, because the next step will be, well, we didn't have enough people sign up for the voluntary program, so now we're going to make it mandatory. So, folks, don't buy into this. I think this is all smoke and mirrors to get them to allow the big data centers to soak up more and more energy at the expense of the consumer. And let's not forget, many of those consumers, particularly in places like Ohio, are farmers and agriculture. So you're sucking energy out of one sector, one absolutely vital, necessary sector for the economy, to give it to another that is nothing other than computer blips and billionaires like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. So I'm very, very skeptical. So that's it for today's news and views from the Nefarium, folks. We'll see you on the flip side. By the way, don't forget, there is no vid chat tomorrow. Our next vid chat will be a week from tomorrow, and that will be the evening vid chat. So we'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Bye-bye, and God bless, and watch this story very carefully. I think we're seeing just the beginning of something that they intend to carry out on a much more massive scale. Bye-bye, and God bless.